As you wish, this is the divine war. The two quasi-deity-level powerhouses released overwhelming killing intent, and their gazes immediately collided. At that moment, the entire void of the Buddhist realm trembled, rapidly shattering. Countless wild winds, blizzards, thunderstorms, and bloodthirsty demonic energy appeared out of nowhere, ravaging the heavens and earth. The sky turned dark, and the world seemed to fall into utter ruin, like the end of the world itself. Seeing this, the warriors of the Great Thousand Alliance quickly retreated, pulling back miles to the edge of the Buddhist realm. They were currently doing everything they could to break the evil restraints in the Buddhist realm, trying to escape. Because of the battle between the two quasi-deities before them, they could do nothing to intervene. Their only option now was to avoid adding to Xiao Yan's burden. As the last of the retreating forces reached the edge of the Buddhist realm, two dazzling beams of light suddenly rose from the endless void, and in an instant, the entire Buddhist realm was completely enveloped. The appearance of these two beams brought with them an endless barrage of crashing sounds, and these shockwaves seemed to travel through the fabric of space, shaking everyone's souls. At such a level of combat, if caught in the chaos, even a ninth reincarnation stage powerhouse might not survive. At best, they would be badly injured. Before long, the sacred demon god's heart, controlled by the heavenly demon sacred emperor, began to tremble violently. Waves of endless evil demonic energy surged from it, descending like the Milky Way from the nine heavens, exuding a destructive, earth-shattering power that seemed to threaten the world. It was an evil light curtain, and wherever it passed, everything was obliterated. On the other side, Xiao Yan's eyes slowly closed, and his divine sacred flames surged violently. On his palm, the immense fire ruler seemed to flow with colorful, divine liquid. In the blink of an eye, everyone saw Xiao Yan swing the giant ruler in his hand. A beam of divine light, as pure as any in existence, shot from the ruler, and collided fiercely with the black evil curtain that had appeared before them. Whoosh! When the two clashed, there was almost no terrifying shockwave. However, after a brief moment of contact, the ancient fire ruler, which contained endless divine power, began to shake violently, and countless cracks appeared on its surface. Through the cracks, a powerful rebound force was transmitted into Xiao Yan's palm, and then with a loud bang, the ancient ruler, infused with 33 sacred patterns and the power of the flame mantra, was completely devoured by the black light curtain. At that moment, the entire battlefield fell silent. Who would have thought the sacred demon god's heart was this powerful? No, this is wrong. The sacred demon god's heart seems to be ignoring most of the divine power of the sacred flame and the god-slaying ruler. What exactly is going on? Xiao Tianming frowned deeply, sensing an instinctual unease. The warriors behind him stood frozen, their bodies bristling with fear, as though they had encountered something terrifying. That thing is said to be one of the ultimate trump cards of the leader of the extraterritorial realm. It can break through immortality, divine power, and all other invulnerabilities. The Holy King also shook his head. Haha, it's over. Xiao Yan, and all of you from the Great Thousand Alliance, you are now part of my extraterritorial realm. Seeing Xiao Yan's attack being completely shattered, the heavenly demon's sacred emperor's emaciated body trembled, and he burst into a hoarse, triumphant laugh. Soul Sanctuary. Although Xiao Yan was deeply confused, there was no time to think further. He pushed his soul power to its limit, and the surrounding void began to distort. Soon, behind Xiao Yan, a dreamlike soul palace began to form, shimmering with ancient, ethereal energy. Towering and magnificent, it appeared to be a supreme gate to suppress the gods, radiating an overwhelming aura of divine might. Stubborn and unyielding. Can your mere soul palace withstand the sacred demon god's supreme divine power? Facing Xiao Yan's desperate move, the heavenly demon's sacred emperor sneered in disdain. Boom! The evil light curtain from the sacred demon god's heart howled as it tore through the sky. Moments later, it crashed into the soul palace, attempting to annihilate it with overwhelming force. For a moment, the ancient and vast soul palace trembled, its resonant hum echoing across the heavens. We will gather all our strength for you." In an instant, the exhausted warriors of the Great Thousand Alliance surged with emotion, and in unison, they spat out their blood, pouring their pure half-deity power and reincarnation energy into Xiao Yan's soul palace. With the collision of the malevolent barrier, the entire divine palace began to tremble, on the verge of collapse. An agonizing pain deep within Xiao Yan's mind spread throughout his body. While the soul sanctuary was certainly powerful, if the divine palace were damaged, it would affect Xiao Yan's very essence, his life. Inside the divine palace, a shadowy figure, appearing slightly frail, stood in midair. The god-slaying ruler in his hand radiated an unyielding aura. As the essence, blood, and primordial force were poured into it, the once dim holy patterns on the god-slaying ruler began to flare up once more, surging with an even greater force than before, terrifying beyond measure. Poof! Feeling the immense power behind him and witnessing the prideful expression of the heavenly demon's sacred emperor, Xiao Yan's blood surged. A streak of slightly colorful essence blood burst from his body, falling onto the god-slaying ruler. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The god-slaying ruler grew scorching hot. Boundless soul power flowed into it from the towering divine palace, and along with the primordial forces from countless powerful beings, the ruler began to tremble, releasing a vast divine radiance. As the divine light surged, it brought with it the soul sanctuary, gradually pushing back the malevolent aura outside the malevolent barrier, purifying it bit by bit. At that moment, it seemed as though the ruler itself was a weapon of the divine seat, exuding infinite divine power, unstoppable. God-slaying ruler, strike? At this moment, a powerful recoil surged through Xiao Yan's arm, carrying a force he couldn't quite control. Could it be that even with his current strength, at the quasi-deity level and in the three divine realms, he still couldn't fully control the god-slaying ruler? He struggled to suppress the abnormal movement of the ruler, while the soul sanctuary boiled once again. Endless soul power enveloped the god-slaying ruler. Xiao Yan seemed to sense something, slowly closing his eyes, and then, with a fierce grip, he raised the ruler high above his head. God-slaying ruler, reveal your divine might. God-slaying strike. With both hands firmly gripping the god-slaying ruler, Xiao Yan's mind erupted with countless thoughts. The ancient and mighty divine chants echoed in his mind as he swung his arm down heavily. A boundless ancient light beam, infused with divine punishment, shot out from the ruler. In that instant, the entire world seemed to freeze. In the shattered Buddhist realm heaven and earth, the remaining heavenly energy trembled, not daring to stir. Even the countless strong warriors of the Great Thousand Alliance behind him were deeply moved, sensing that the force behind this attack was no longer human. The moment Xiao Yan's arm struck down, the divine palace hummed, and then completely merged into his body. The god-slaying ruler's radiance shimmered with billions of different divine lights. Wherever the light touched, all malevolent forces scattered. This strike could undoubtedly be called Xiao Yan's strongest move to date. It was enough to slay gods. Boom, boom, boom. The ancient giant ruler, glittering with billions of rays, descended from the heavens, bringing with it an unimaginable force capable of defeating even the divine seat. As it moved, the divine light it released completely evaporated and purified all the malevolent energy outside the malevolent barrier. Even the shattered realm of heaven and earth could not move under its divine power. Countless shocked gazes gathered in the sky. Everyone could only vaguely see the malevolent barrier and the ancient giant ruler, emanating boundless divine might. The two clashed with terrifying speed and force, colliding in the air in an instant. The divine light from the god-slaying ruler spread across the heavens, easily entangling with the incomparable malevolent barrier. Each clash seemed to reverberate with endless divine power. Boom, boom, boom. The earth-shattering sound echoed as the energy waves from the collision surged like a long-forgotten abyssal black hole, immediately unleashing a terrifying devouring force. It mercilessly swallowed the shattered heaven and earth. Countless torrents of pitch-black blood and fiery power surged from the abyss, sweeping forward like a flood, resembling a demon dragon's emergence. As soon as it was born, it caused a bloody storm across the world. This clash of attacks seemed to be far more terrifying than any previous ones. Ordinary people caught in the collision would surely be destroyed, body and soul obliterated. Evenly matched? The two attacks paused in mid-air, with no obvious sign of one overcoming the other. Both Saint King and Xiao Tianming shook their heads in unison, clearly sensing something. Something doesn't feel right. Among the crowd, powerful leaders like Yao Ji, Thunder Lord, and the Fire Sprite clan felt an ominous shadow looming in their hearts, sensing a far more terrifying force gradually emerging. That power? It's not the same as the aura of the assassination attempt from before. Why does my unease feel so intense? However, soon, within the abyssal black hole formed at the center of the clash, billions of rays of light began to flicker. These powers, as soon as they appeared, transformed into a blazing sun that slowly rose from the endless abyss, carrying with it vast divine power, wreaking havoc across the heavens and earth. Crush it! In the midst of the divine battle, a heart-wrenching roar suddenly echoed. Immediately, the crowd was delighted to see that the evil light barrier, as solid as a copper wall, began to tremble. Cracks, as fine as fingers, spread across it. On the other side, the ancient giant ruler's assault showed no signs of slowing down. Under such immense pressure, Xiao Yan stepped through the void, resisting all the evil energy between heaven and earth. His figure slowly moved, wielding the ancient giant ruler, heading towards the evil light barrier. Within the evil light barrier, the heavenly demon sacred emperor had become as powerless as an ant, unable to even harm a chicken. Once this evil light barrier was shattered, the endless battle between the Great Thousand Worlds and the Extraterritorial Evil Clan would come to a complete end. With the black and white solar eclipse god needles consuming the Great Thousand Worlds in the front and the creatures of the Extraterritorial Evil Clan behind, these two calamities had to be dealt with one by one. If they were to come together, the entire Great Thousand Worlds would be wiped out. Finish it once and for all. All the blood and divine power within Xiao Yan's body surged, transforming into a streak of flowing light that shot out from his body. With the force of thunder, it was injected into the god-slaying ruler's radiance from afar. In an instant, the divine brilliance on the ancient ruler intensified, and a sacred, ancient sound emerged, resonating with the hearts and souls of countless beings. Empowered by this overwhelming force, the ancient ruler's radiance became one of the most terrifying powers in existence. Wherever it spread, the entire Zhangqiong trembled. Countless evil energies rapidly dissipated beneath its might, and even the evil light barrier shook violently. Success! At this moment, an indescribable joy surged from the hearts of the many powerful figures, with some even tearing up. Crack! In the blink of an eye, a crisp cracking sound echoed from the evil light barrier, which had evolved from the sacred demon god's heart. Clearly, it could not withstand the terrifying strike of the god-slaying ruler. Over time, it began to shatter piece by piece. No, this is impossible. In this instant, feeling the rapid collapse and shrinking of the sacred demon god's heart's light barrier, the derision and contempt that had once filled the heavenly demon sacred emperor's eyes vanished completely. Instead, for the first time, a rare fear appeared in its place. The power of the sacred demon god's heart rapidly weakened, and in an instant, it would be completely annihilated under Xiao Yan's assault. It seemed that this battle was nearing its conclusion. Within 10 breaths, the ancient giant ruler flashed through the air, burning and purifying the evil light barrier clean, causing the heavenly demon sacred emperor to let out a series of heartbreaking, mournful howls. One strike to break all laws. Heavenly demon sacred emperor, what do you have to say now? Xiao Yan had completely shattered the heavenly demon sacred emperor's strongest attack. The entire world seemed to calm down. Xiao Yan's eyes were filled with unprecedented sternness as he coldly stared at the heavenly demon sacred emperor. Now, the latter's evil energy had nearly withered away. His eyes had sunken, and his pale eyeballs were filled with countless blood vessels. Dark blood continuously oozed from his ears, nose, and mouth, making him appear incredibly eerie. He had become no different from an ordinary evil creature. Russell, I never thought that a mere descendant of the Xiao clan could shatter our clan's plans. I cannot accept this. The heavenly demon's sacred emperor, with a self-mocking smile, reached out with his withered hand, grasping the blood spilling from his body. His gaze suddenly lifted, looking up towards the sky of the Buddhist realm heaven and earth. After defeating the heavenly demon's sacred emperor, Xiao Yan had not yet had the chance to inquire or use his soul power to explore the birthplace of the leader of the extraterritorial evil clan, when he suddenly felt an undeniable force. The source of these forces did not come from the heavenly demon's sacred emperor, but rather from the very top of the Buddhist realm heaven and earth. Ever since his breakthrough to quasi-deity and the ensuing battle with the heavenly demon's sacred emperor, the sky above had been shrouded in evil energy, causing Xiao Yan to not notice any changes. When the Buddhist realm had turned into the extraterritorial base, the place had long since become dark and bloody, with no sunlight ever reaching it. Thus, even the rays of the blazing sun in the sky had been obscured. With the current stance of the heavenly demon's sacred emperor, Xiao Yan felt a sense of confusion. He slowly raised his head. Now that the entire extraterritorial evil clan had been eradicated, and even the heavenly demon's sacred emperor had failed, with only the fate of the leader of the extraterritorial evil clan unknown, the evil clan seemed to have lost the strength to fight. Yet, why was there still a faint sense of unease coming from above? Brother Xiao Yan, we did it. At this moment, the powerful figures of the Great Thousand Alliance, weakened but still standing, leapt into the air, gazing up at Xiao Yan with admiration and respect. Looking at the countless powerful figures charging towards him, Xiao Yan's expression suddenly changed. He raised his hand and swung the god-slaying ruler forcefully towards the top of the sky. Boom! The attack from the god-slaying ruler instantly swept away the sinister mist, revealing a flicker of black and white blazing suns at the top of the Buddhist realm heaven and earth. Within the black and white blazing suns, the white light seemed to have only a trace of its former glow. And this black and white blazing sun resembled the one in the Great Thousand Worlds. Almost identical? Is this the black and white blazing sun divine formation from the battle between the Lord of the Central Human Realm and the leader of the extraterritorial evil clan? Sensing the eerie sun hanging high in the sky, a wave of fear surged in the hearts of the Great Thousand Alliance's warriors. The fear sank deep into their souls, making it impossible for them to even gaze upon the black and white blazing sun, let alone entertain any thoughts of resistance. The moment the black and white blazing sun appeared, it felt like an inescapable nightmare, engulfing their minds and causing their bodies to tremble uncontrollably. Wasn't this divine formation always floating in the Great Thousand Worlds? Why has it secretly entered the Buddhist realm? A wave of confusion spread through the minds of countless people, with the Saint King and others also at a loss. They couldn't comprehend this strange scene. Ever since the Buddhist realm was occupied by the extraterritorial evil clan, it has been corrupted by their supreme demonic power, no longer a part of the Great Thousand Worlds. But the appearance of this black and white blazing sun is indeed strange. Xiao Tianming shook his head, his brow furrowing as he understood little of the situation. Ha ha ha. Xiao Yan, you never could have anticipated my eternal plan as the leader of the extraterritorial evil clan. Our battle, indeed, I lost, but my extraterritorial evil clan has won. Now, let all of you witness something that hasn't appeared in this world for eons, the path of the battle god. Poof! As his words fell, the heavenly demon's sacred emperor's near-collapsed body suddenly disintegrated. Evil source energy of various kinds surged from his body, quickly flying toward the black and white blazing sun high in the sky. Among the countless evil source energies, a terrifying euphoria filled the air, as though they were returning to their true form. The extraterritorial evil clan. It really is the power of the leader of the extraterritorial realm manifested? Watching this unimaginable scene, countless people were stunned, unable to regain their senses for a long time. Was Mu Yingying's earlier guess actually true? Is that the Earth Spirit Pearl? Why is something from the Lord of the Central Human Realm appearing on his body? A moment later, Mu Yingying's delicate face tensed. She saw an ancient pearl among the surging evil source energies. The pearl followed the trail of the evil source energy and shot towards the black and white blazing sun. This thing is of utmost importance. We must obtain it no matter what. A stern look appeared on the faces of the Saint King and Xiao Tianming, clearly preparing for a desperate move. It's too late. The Buddhist realm cannot withstand the impact of such destructive power. It may collapse completely at any moment. You all go ahead. I'll try something. Xiao Yan took a deep breath, his expression filled with unprecedented gravity. Clearly, among the powerful figures present, only Xiao Yan, who had stepped into the divine realm, could sense the endless demonic power within the black and white blazing sun. That aura was identical to the leader of the extraterritorial evil clans, even more terrifying than when he encountered the leader in the central human realm. The clash between the leader of the extraterritorial evil clan and the lord of the central human realm. It seemed that the leader of the extraterritorial evil clan had won. Now, with the return and infusion of countless evil source energies, the leader might truly be able to touch upon that legendary tier, the battle god. But, at this moment, Kailin and Yun's faces darkened, deeply concerned for Xiao Yan. With their extraordinary powers, they too vaguely sensed the endless demonic power contained within the black and white blazing sun. Your powers are almost depleted. If you stay here, I might be distracted. Xiao Yan turned his head, his gaze locked on the blazing sun in the sky. Countless evil source energies were converging towards it, creating a magnificent and terrifying scene. Let's go, Kailin, Yun. At this moment, Xun'er, aware of the gravity of the situation, gracefully stepped forward and took the hands of the two women. Boom! The god-slaying ruler swung again, and a crack appeared in the void of the Buddhist realm. The warriors of the Great Thousand Alliance quickly began to move, retreating in unison like a great dragon. Whir. As the Great Thousand Alliance forces withdrew, the nearly pitch-black evil blazing sun suddenly surged. Dark rings descended from the sky, shooting towards them. Within the rings were indescribable divine forces, and even Xiao Yan felt a slight tremor. Your opponent is me. Cut it down. Xiao Yan's body surged with speed, and the flame mantra within him began to operate, replenishing his strength with the sacred flame. He then unleashed heavy strikes from the god-slaying ruler, smashing the eerie rings to pieces. Shattering all the rings completely, a strong sense of numbness spread through Xiao Yan's arm. It was clear that when he used the god-slaying ruler to destroy the evil ring, the recoil from its destruction had greatly intensified Xiao Yan's pressure. For divine realms. It wasn't until the entire Buddhist realm became engulfed by the evil sun that Xiao Yan's voice turned cold. Despite the disbelief, he could truly feel an overwhelming malevolent force, several times stronger than his own, rapidly regenerating within the evil sun. Once this force fully manifested, it would likely bring an unprecedented disaster to this world. Boom. Within the evil sun, the last trace of white light stubbornly resisted, with the black and white radiance constantly flickering. Flame God's Cauldron. God-slaying ruler. 33 sacred flames. Demonic power. Dragon God's power. Explode for me. Countless explosive forces were instantly suppressed by Xiao Yan within the Flame God's Cauldron, then transformed into a violent sky-shaking light, exploding with a deafening roar. Bang! Unfortunately, facing such a desperate attack from Xiao Yan, when it collided with the evil sun, an ancient, sharp sound emerged, followed by a powerful shockwave that blasted Xiao Yan's body tens of thousands of miles away. As the sound wave hit Xiao Yan's body, his chest slightly caved in, as though a fatal force had been injected into him, coursing through his body with the power of the sound wave. One step too late. The moment he was sent flying, Xiao Yan's blood and energy went into turmoil, his meridians disordered, blood spilling uncontrollably. His body was in a wretched state, and the weakness and pain radiating from his chest nearly drove him to the brink of unconsciousness. Predecessors, save him? In an instant, as the Buddhist realm became completely consumed by the evil sun, a tear appeared in the void, and fiery angel wings slowly unfurled. A hurried voice echoed through the air. Boom! 2 half-step divine powers, combined with the angel queen Xing Yuan's supreme divine power, strained to pull Xiao Yan out of the Buddhist realm. In the Buddhist realm, the light of death surged, and countless rocks, earth, and forests were devoured by the evil sun, leaving the entire Buddhist realm desolate, a barren wasteland. Meanwhile, the black and white evil sun hovering in the sky was slowly replaced by an inky black hue, its size growing to an ancient, colossal scale. A disaster was slowly descending. In the matriarch's mansion of the Boundless Fire Domain, Saint King, Xiao Tianming, and Qing Yuan had just pulled Xiao Yan from the Buddhist realm. They collapsed, panting heavily, clearly having exhausted an immense amount of their blood and energy during the long-distance rescue. Looking down, Saint King and Xiao Tianming's breath was erratic, their internal energy severely weakened, and their faces were deathly pale. Not far from them, Angel Queen Qing Yuan's condition was equally dire. Her once dignified face now carried an expression of exhaustion. Even the angel fire behind her had dimmed slightly, and the 12 angel wings were uneven, as though they had suffered some unprecedented, catastrophic attack. She looked utterly worn out. Angel Queen, what happened to you? Seeing that Xiao Yan was quietly unconscious and seemed unharmed, the matriarchs gathered around Qing Yuan, urgently asking. It seemed that Angel Queen hadn't participated in the battle within the Buddhist realm, but where had she been during this time? The black and white evil sun divine formation disappeared after devouring nearly 30% of the life force from the Great Thousand Worlds. I followed its trail to investigate and accidentally stepped into it. 2 quasi-deities were battling inside. Tian Yuanzi, the lord of the central human realm, was defeated by the leader of the extraterritorial realm. In the center of the evil sun, his supreme demon power transformed it into a divine altar. Now, the leader of the extraterritorial realm is gathering all his power, attempting to breach the battle god. A flicker of helplessness flashed in Qing Yuan's clear eyes, and she weakly continued speaking. As for the countless injuries on her delicate body, they were likely the work of the leader of the extraterritorial realm. On her sacred, noble angel wings, clusters of jet-black spots resembled some kind of poisonous mark, a horrifying sight to behold. Damn! The worst-case scenario has happened. The countless life forms of the extraterritorial evil clan, in a sense, are all part of the extraterritorial evil clan. Now that all the evil sources have returned, if we don't stop them, I fear. Upon hearing this, Saint King's expression darkened immediately. If the leader of the extraterritorial realm truly ascended to the battle god level, the entire Great Thousand Worlds would likely descend into hell. Let's check Xiao Yan's injuries first. We couldn't resist the attack from the evil sun earlier while rescuing him. Qing Yuan nodded slightly, her beautiful eyes filled with a deep anxiety as she approached Xiao Yan's side. Deadly poison? Upon hearing this, Kai Lin's heart stirred slightly. The 10-colored radiance behind her surged, and she immediately grabbed Xiao Yan's wrist. After a moment, even Kai Lin, usually calm, turned pale as if some terrifying force was flowing within Xiao Yan's body. Sister Kai Lin, what's going on? The other 3 matriarchs spoke in unison, their voices filled with disbelief. Kai Lin did not speak, but slowly spread out her jade-like hand and quietly unfastened Xiao Yan's clothing. This is... As she gently lifted Xiao Yan's clothes, the sight of his chest nearly rotting away was enough to make one's scalp tingle. Countless sinister patterns were attached to the flesh, penetrating the bones and branding the soul. This is the deadly poison mixed with the divine essence of the leader of the extraterritorial realm. Ordinary power can't dissolve it. After using angelic flame and divine power to sense it carefully, Qing Yuan shook her head helplessly. Clearly, this toxic mark was too difficult for the powerful figures present to deal with. It seems that the leader of the extraterritorial realm was also afraid that Xiao Yan might disrupt things at the critical moment, so they used part of their divine essence to plant this poisonous curse. Xiao Tianming spoke, though he couldn't immediately think of a good solution. I'll give it a try. A rare look of seriousness appeared in Kai Lin's eyes as she stared at Xiao Yan, who had fallen into a deep unconsciousness. Her expression grew even more solemn. If the vast power of the tin-colored heaven-swallowing python was enough for Kai Lin to ignore countless toxins from all heavens, then the toxic mark now inflicted by the leader of the extraterritorial realm surpassed even that power. No, this evil poison is mixed with the supreme divine power of the leader of the extraterritorial realm. Your strength hasn't even reached the half-step Doshin level. If you rashly try to remove it, you'll only end up with physical and spiritual annihilation. Qing Yuan shook her head, a trace of an irresistible divine aura in her eyes. Only I, Senior Saint King, and Senior Xiao Tianming can. Let's try our best, the three of you. After a moment of hesitation, Qing Yuan spoke again. At this point, this is the only solution. Sigh. The others nodded, and then they swallowed pills in large amounts. Soon, the other powerful figures quietly left the room, leaving only the four of them. Xiao Yan, are you okay? Several hours later, Xiao Yan slowly opened his eyes, heavy with exhaustion, and saw the four familiar figures by his bed. Xun'er, Kai Lin, Yun, and Mu Yingying were all pacing back and forth in the room, their beautiful eyes filled with worry. Some even shimmered with unshed tears, their brows tightly furrowed. Cough. I'm fine. The Buddhist realm. Xiao Yan tried to sit up, but felt a wave of weakness pass through his body. Before the four women could speak, he suddenly pulled up his sleeve. On his chest, a long, evil brand was clearly visible. The brand bore a demonic eye that was slightly closed, yet it contained an overwhelming, incomprehensible evil power. Even the combined might of Qing Yuan and the others could only force it into a corner of Xiao Yan's body, unable to do more. This is... Xiao Yan's expression turned grim in an instant. Just some small wounds, nothing serious. Surprised by Xiao Yan's sudden severe expression, Xun'er could only gently pull on his arm and mutter. This is the primordial poison of the leader of the extraterritorial realm. There's no solution in this world. Now, the leader of the extraterritorial realm has drawn on 30% of the life force from the Great Thousand Worlds, combined with the return of countless primordial forces from the extraterritorial evil clan. The path of the battle god seems to be within reach. After a brief hesitation, Kai Lin stepped forward from the four women and looked at Xiao Yan with cold eyes. She knew Xiao Yan's nature, and given the current calamities in the Great Thousand Worlds, trying to deceive him would not be an easy task. The situation is dire. Where are the Senior Saint King and the others? And the Angel Kingdom? We need to contact them as soon as possible. The upcoming battle must... Rip? Xiao Yan suddenly leaped up from the bed. Just as he was about to start planning the next steps, the demonic eye on the mark on his chest twitched slightly. A sharp pain struck his heart, and Xiao Yan's expression changed. Sweat poured down his forehead, his skin, flesh, and veins tightened as if some irresistible, terrifying force was trying to tear apart his body and soul. The spasms inside his body were so intense that even Xiao Yan trembled. The poison mark, no larger than a fist, seemed to contain a supernatural power. A power only a quasi-deity could possess, capable of resisting him. Xiao Yan's expression was particularly grave, and beads of cold sweat dripped heavily from his forehead. He stared at the sinister poison mark on his chest, a faint yet persistent suppression lingering over his body. It seemed that every time he activated his internal power, the poison mark's corrosive force would deepen its invasion. Meanwhile, the demonic eye that resided within the poison mark also grew increasingly profound, its darkness intensifying with each passing moment. That ominous eye within the poison mark was more like an evil seed. If it were allowed to fully mature, even Xiao Yan himself might be unable to resist its control. At this moment, the four women gathered closely around Xiao Yan. Yet, despite their combined efforts, they were unable to expel the poison mark from his body. On the other side, as the Second Great War between the extraterritorial evil clan and the Great Thousand Worlds concluded, The countless human souls who had yet to revel in their victory suddenly felt the world tremble. In the void where the Buddhist realm once connected to the Great Thousand Worlds, countless pillars of annihilation erupted from nothingness, shattering the space itself. These pillars carried an eerie and overwhelming demonic aura, their thick and viscous darkness seemingly impervious to the defenses of the Great Thousand Worlds. They devoured relentlessly, consuming all before them like insatiable beasts of destruction. Countless beings looked up, their hearts gripped by a storm of fury and dread. During the First Great War, the Great Thousand Worlds had already sacrificed countless supremes to protect their realm from the extraterritorial evil clan. Now, after the Great Thousand Alliance had finally vanquished their enemies, this moment should have been one of triumph. Yet, to their horror, something even more terrifying lurked beyond the veil of victory. The leader of the Outer Realms, the mastermind behind the ancient scheme, the greatest threat yet. With the emergence of this anomaly, countless regions of the Great Thousand Worlds fell into a chilling silence. The once thriving cities, the lush forests, even the barren deserts, everything became eerily lifeless. Pale-faced, countless beings stared at the sky in shock, witnessing a sight so horrific it seared itself into their souls. The long-vanished black and white solar eclipse had once brought them a fleeting sense of relief. But now, the appearance of the annihilation pillars filled them with an unprecedented despair. Even the weakest among them, guided by instinct, could sense an undeniable truth. If the source of those pillars were to fully descend upon this world, nothing would remain. All life would be reduced to ashes. This was the true catastrophe behind the Great War. Sigh. Is there really no other way? In this moment, the Holy King, Xiao Tianming, and others gathered in the grand hall of the matriarch's mansion, gazing into the endless void beyond. In that boundless darkness, countless annihilation pillars of pitch-black energy raged without restraint. With every surge, another region of the Great Thousand Worlds was completely erased from existence. Even the Holy King and Xiao Tianming, standing at the peak of the demigod level, found themselves powerless against such devastation. The entire Great Thousand Worlds was thrown into chaos. Countless beings were displaced, desperately fleeing toward the shelters established by the mighty figures of the Endless Flame Alliance. Yet, despite the Endless Flame Alliance's status as the most dominant force in the Great Thousand Worlds, the overwhelming influx of refugees quickly pushed their sanctuaries to their limits. Inside the Grand Hall, figures from various realms had gathered, the mighty experts of the monster realm, the king of beasts, the formidable poison god Mysterious Crane of the poison realm, the little fairy doctor, the feared devourer of souls from the ghost realm, Duan Qifei, and even envoys from the hell realm. However, no one from the immortal realm was present. Everyone. Before long, Xiao Yan and the four matriarchs stepped into the hall. Yet, even as he entered, his aura remained unstable. A closer inspection would reveal that he now seemed no different from an ordinary man. As Xiao Yan looked at the gathered elites, the very pinnacle of the Great Thousand Worlds, completely at a loss against the leader of the Outer Realms and his ancient scheme, he couldn't help but feel a deep sense of irony. He had once believed that as long as they defeated the extraterritorial evil clan, all that remained was to step into the birthplace of the leader of the Outer Realms, dismantle the black and white scorching sun divine array, and the great calamity would be resolved. Yet, he had underestimated the true power and methods of the extraterritorial evil clan from the very beginning. Now, it seemed that no one could stop the leader of the Outer Realms from ascending to the realm of Doshan. Silence filled the hall. However, the moment Xiao Yan spoke, all eyes turned to him. Feeling the gaze of the crowd in the hall, the four matriarchs could only shake their heads helplessly. Due to Xiao Yan's injuries, Saint King and the others naturally did not want him to participate, so they had hoped the four matriarchs could conceal it. However, it seemed that their efforts had failed. "This is my decision," Xiao Yan smiled slightly at the four women by his side, then walked directly to the center of the hall. This was the boundless fire domain, the heart of the Endless Flame Alliance, and the last bastion of the Great Thousand Worlds. If he retreated at this critical moment, it would be impossible for him to rest easy. "The situation is urgent," but that does not mean we are without a chance. As he watched Xiao Yan's determined stance, a brilliant flame suddenly flickered in Saint King's eyes. Clearly, as a sacred being, he was aware of certain things that ordinary people could not know. Did you mean? At that moment, Angel Queen Qing Yuan's voice also took on a strange tone, as if she had an inkling of Saint King's meaning. Xiao Yan did not interrupt their conversation, though he too had an idea of what was being discussed. Correct. Since the primordial era, no one has stepped into the battle god stage within the Great Thousand Worlds. There are probably some secrets behind this. From my observation, that so-called divine path is, at best, just a path containing divine power. Unfortunately, the conditions for the appearance of the divine path are unclear. Given the current time constraints, we cannot place our final hope in it. Saint King's tone was calm, but there was a faint, inexplicable significance in his words. Senior, please stop keeping us in suspense. At this point, Thunderlord also spoke softly. In addition to the divine path, there is another way. And that is Paradise Lost. Saint King turned slowly, his eyes filled with blazing fire as he gazed at the sky above the Great Thousand Worlds, as if he had made up his mind.